Okay, so I'll share my screen with you now.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I'll be a bit, so you're gonna hear my voice now. Okay. Okay, so this is advertising too. Okay. Uh, have you done advertising before?
I haven't.
Or you haven't done advertising before?
I did it in first year.
Oh, it's your first year.
No, I did it in first year.
Oh, you did in fast share. Okay, great then. Okay, so advertising is very simple. It's a very broad module, but we'll discuss all the fundamentals of advertising, the functions of advertising. We're going to discuss the roles of advertising, how to create a campaign, how to create advertisements. Okay, all the different platforms that we use, or rather, what the advertisers use, media platforms, social platforms, all those things we're going to discuss. Okay, so advertising, there are so many different definitions. However, the most important thing to understand on all these definitions is it means the same thing. It might be written in different words, it might use different discourse, but the meaning of the definition remain the same. Okay. Some people define advertising as an attempt to influence the buying behavior of customers or clients with a persuasive selling message about either products or services. And every day we see these kind of messages on TV, on radio, on social networks, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so forth. Okay. The purpose of advertising is to inform, to remind, to educate customers, potential consumers of an available product or a service. Another purpose of advertising also is to persuade customers to select certain products over any other products. For example, we might have Nike sneakers, we have Adidas sneakers. The Nike sneakers, they'll advertise more so as to fight against their rival competitor, Adidas. The same with other products. Okay. The same applies also to services, to any organizations that supply services. They advertise their services also to influence, to persuade potential customers to use their services over their rivals. So this is what we do in this lecture. We'll discuss everything. If you have any questions as I proceed, you just let me know. Okay. It's very important that you
Okay.
ask questions. It's very important that everything that you don't understand, we discuss it. Okay. So advertising,
Okay.
it's a means of communication with the use of a product or a service. And remember, advertisements are these are messages that are conveyed by advertisers through media platforms. So basically, it means these messages are paid for, and they are paid by the sponsor. They are paid by those who create those adverts. Okay. Uh, so if you look at another definition, it says advertising, it's a marketing communication that employs an openly sponsored non-personal message to promote or sell a product, a service, or an idea. So the key there, it's non-personal. It's a marketing communication, meaning the purpose is to reach as many people as it can. Okay. So advertising
Mhm.
targets either thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, or millions of people. Okay. And it's a non personal message. Advertising, it's a marketing tactic also. So it involves buying space to promote either a product or a service or a cause. Okay. Uh, what do you understand when they say advertising? It's a marketing tactic involving paying for space to promote product, service, or a cause. What do you understand there?
Basically, it's a marketing. Basically, advertising is a way to promote a specific product. So, in terms of, let's say, Coca-Cola, I pay for space to advertise Coca-Cola, how what Coca-Cola looks like, what Coca-Cola tastes like, and prices of Coca-Cola.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, that's correct. So basically, advertising consists of all the activities um, that are presented to a group that are non-personal, and these messages can be oral, they can be visual, and they are openly sponsored. You can identify the sponsor through the message. Like the instance that you just gave us, when Coca-Cola advertise, you can immediately tell that, okay, the product that is being advertised is of Coca-Cola. The same with any other company that advertise. The same when Nando's advertise, you can quickly tell, oh, okay, this is a Nando's product. Okay. So the sponsor is immediately identified through the message that is being conveyed.
Mm,
Okay. Uh, so
okay.
there are so many ways in which advertisers try to convince or to persuade customers to utilize their products or their services. Okay. Um, so I have different adverts that I'm sure you have viewed this through Core Campus. Have you managed to view the adverts on lesson one?
Yes.
Okay, so if you view them, great then. So we're going to discuss each of those adverts. Okay, as we discuss those adverts, we need to identify who is the target market. Then we also need to identify the brands. Then we need to understand what is the role of strategy there, what is the role of creativity, and why we think that advertisement was so successful, and what is the brand's personality. Okay, and remember, an advertising strategy, this is a plan that is used to either convince or persuade or reach different customers to buy a product or a service. Okay. And brand personality, these are certain characteristics, okay, that are attributed to a brand name. Okay. For example, you can have brand personalities, they're different. Okay. So a company or an institution can have a brand personality that is associated with either being young or being a hard worker or excitement or things like that. Okay. So there are brands that when you think of, you like automatically think of young people, isn't it? For instance, think of
Mm-hmm.
fashion companies, think of the Yeezys. Kanye West products are particularly meant for, you know, either hip hop people or young people, isn't it? With this, we are not saying the older generation do not buy these sneakers. No, they do buy. But we are saying as a brand, you can characterize that brand as youthful, isn't it? Just like the
Mm,
just like the hip hop music, the characteristic of hip hop is mainly youthful. Okay. Just like the characteristics of jazz music, it's mainly for the older generation, mature people, isn't it? So these are the brand
mm.
personalities that we talking of that is associated with certain products. Okay. Um, so let's look at these adverts. Okay, it's first for women. What do you think of this advert?
No, it's a good ad.
It's a good ad. Okay. Who do you think is the target market there?
The target market is women.
Women. Okay. So they are targeting women, isn't it? Are you
Yes.
able to identify the brand? What brand is that?
First for women.
First for Women. It's an insurance company. Okay. In what strategy did they use them?
Yes.
Hmm? No, it's a question that I said. What do you think of the strategy that they used there? Remember, we said the
Sorry, can you
strategy to
repeat?
plan to reach or persuade the customer to buy a product or service. So I'm saying, if we look at that advert, what do you think of the strategy that they used?
They used a strategy to appeal to women to show them that First for Women is an insurance company that provides insurance for women. The strategy they used is the carelessness of men in what
Yeah,
they do
yeah,
road with their vehicles.
correct. So the strategy there was okay. We insure women because women are very careful. Women are not careless. Women are very responsible. Guys, you play around, so we don't want you. We want women, isn't it? And the creativity,
Yeah.
what do you think of the creativity?
The creativity was very good because they used they used gender to appeal to their target market. So they used male and female, but necessarily to benefit the female gender.
Correct. And this is the if you look at the ad itself, these are the things we experience every day. Guys, we do things like this. Men do things like this, isn't it? So they actually uh
Yeah,
it's reality that they used in a way that even you yourself, even me myself as a guy, I can relate to. There are times when you be like, you can do things like this with your friends, isn't it? Like, but this is
yeah,
true. This is actually true, isn't it?
yeah, it's reality.
Yes. Uh, so do you think this campaign was successful?
Sorry?
Do you think the ad was successful?
Um,
Just general.
the thing is, I don't know, general, yes, the ad was successful because it was successful because the ad initially shows who the target market is and its level of creativity.
Yeah,
Automatically, by looking at the ad, you already know that who's being targeted.
correct. Okay. So what we did now is the same thing that you do on on the second advert, on the third advert, on the fourth advert, on the fifth advert. So all the videos there, you look at the video, you answer all those questions that we just answered there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll just a bit rush here so that we can go. Um, let's see. So we can do our lesson 2. Okay. Okay. So now on the first lesson there, we defined what is advertising. Okay. Then we talked about how advertising uses creativity and strategy, isn't it, to communicate their message to potential consumers or customers or the target market. So it is important to understand that ad that you see on TV or hear on radio or read on newspapers or magazine, it has target audience. There are certain people that are being targeted with that ad. Okay, it's not all adverts target everybody. Okay, just like when they advertise handbags, that's basically for women, isn't it? Just like when they advertise the importance of having protected sex, that's for people who can indulge in sexual activities, the legal age, isn't it? So that they're not targeting the minors, they're not targeting those below 18 years, isn't it? Okay. So in this lesson now, lesson two, basically, again, we'll define what is advertising. Then we're going to consider different variety of persuasive methods that are used in advertising. Okay. Then we analyze these advertising messages in relation to the persuasive techniques or methods that are used. Okay. Then we define the role of marketing, examine each of the marketing communication tools used to promote goods and services. Okay, so by the end of the lesson, you should be able to define advertising. You should be able to understand the hierarchy of effects model. You should be able to evaluate an advertising message and apply persuasive communication techniques. You should be able to describe, discuss the role of each of the marketing communication tools and situate advertising within this framework. Okay. Advertising, the non-personal communication of information, usually paid for and usually persuasive in nature about products, services, or ideas identified by sponsor. Every day we see these messages. Every day we read these messages. The moment you go on social media, you are bombarded with different adverts. Okay, from shoes, cars, food, everything. Okay, so that's advertisements. Okay. Okay, so let's look now at, so there are two theories that we're going to discuss that are going to help us understand how this advertising industry works.
Okay. Sorry, can I ask?
Yes, sure.
When will the brief be issued?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
When will the brief be issued?
Hey, I'm not sure yet, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I will check that, and of course I will let you know as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so now we're going to look at two theories that discuss advertising. Okay. So, like I said, there are so many advertisers who try to convince us to buy certain products. Okay. So the hierarchy represents the hierarchy of effects model. That's a one theory that we're going to discuss. It's called the hierarchy of effects model. Okay. So this model, it represents the progression of learning and decision-making consumer experience as a result of advertising. Okay, so it's basically saying an advertisement has been aired. How does it influence us, the consumers, until we make that decision of buying either a product or utilizing a service? Okay. So this theory, it describes how advertising influences a consumer decision to purchase a product. So this theory is made up of progressive learning and decision-making hierarchy. Okay. It was developed in 1961 by two scholars, Lavage and Gary. Okay. So this one is an advanced advertising strategy, and it approaches the sale of goods through well-developed persuasive advertising messages designed to build brand awareness over time. Okay. So the model is made up of 6 steps. We have awareness, knowledge, liking, preference, conviction, purchase. These are the 6 steps that make up this model. Okay. So the goal of the
Okay.
advertiser, okay, is to make sure that a customer or a potential customer is guided through all these 6 stages of the hierarchy of effects. Okay. So on step number 1, we have awareness. Awareness is basically when you are aware that there is a product. Okay. Now you are aware that there is iPhone 6. Okay, that's step number 1. That's what advertising does, isn't it? It's telling you there
Yes.
is iPhone. Okay, cool. Then step number 2, it's knowledge. You're gathering information, more information to understand the product. Then step number 3, you like the product, isn't it? So how do you like the product? It's either the advertisement, it resonates with you, the more you can recall an advert.
You like the product through the knowledge.
Yes. Then liking now, the more an ad resonates with you, the more you will recall it, isn't it? So if an advertisement is produced within your cultural or societal or individual experiences, you're likely to remember that ad more than the ad that is not related to you in any way. Okay. By liking, okay, I can give you an example. An example can be if like that First for Women insurance ad. You like the ad because it's something that you can relate to, isn't it? So
Yeah.
that means if you were a woman, well, you're going to consider to insure your car with First for Women, isn't it? That's what they're talking. That's what hierarchy of effects theory stages is arguing. Okay. Then step number 4, we have preference. Okay. So preference now, this is when you prefer a product because of its features. You prefer a product because it has certain advantages. For example, the consumer prefers or likes 2 or 3 brands of juice, either containing natural ingredients, may prefer over any other natural juice because it has sugar. So the customer might say, okay, I prefer the non-sugar one, or I prefer the non-caffeine one. Okay, so that's your preference, isn't it? Then we have conviction is step number 5. Okay, conviction, let me give you an example. For example, think of toothpaste or even juice or drink or alcohol. Let's say if there's a toothpaste that contains natural ingredients and it was promoted by saying, if you buy this toothpaste, you're going to get a free toothbrush. Or if you buy this bottle,
Oh,
you're getting it.
okay.
Or if they
Yeah.
say, if you buy this whiskey, you're going to get a glass for free. Okay, so you as a customer, you might buy a product because you're thinking, wow, okay, so if I buy this toothbrush, I'm going to get uh, toothpaste for free. So let me buy it. Okay, that's the conviction there. Okay, then step number 6, that's purchase. This is where now you say, okay, I like the product, I'm going to buy it. Okay, so these 6 steps, these 2 scholars, remember our 2 scholars are Lavage and Steiner, who came up with this theory. They also argued later on and say, okay, these 6 steps can actually be constructed into 3 stages: cognitive, affective, and cognitive. Okay, so we discussed those later. So now with these notes, it's explaining what I was explaining to you. Okay. So in summary of the hierarchy of effects theory, okay, so they say the awareness and the knowledge, those are the cognitive stages when a consumer is informed about a product or a service and how they process the information that they have been given to. This is when you see the advert on TV, when you see the ad in a newspaper. Okay. Then the liking and preference. Okay. This is also known as the affective stages. This is when the customer now develops some attachment, some feeling about a brand or about a particular product. But however, this is not the time when an advertiser should focus on a product. Okay, its positive attributes or technical abilities. Instead, advertisers should attempt to appeal to customers' values, emotions, self-esteem, or lifestyle. Okay, so on this liking and preference stage, the advertiser should focus more on appealing to the customer by targeting the emotions of a customer. You understand
Okay.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
How can you target the emotions of a customer? You might say, well, if you want to live a happy lifestyle, please use this product. You'll get a good lifestyle. Or they might say, if you want to have fair, nice skin, use this particular product. It will take away all your pimples. You're going to have a fair, nice, smooth skin. They're appealing to emotions, isn't it? They're appealing to you. You're sitting there like, oh, okay. So if I'm going to use this lotion, it's going to give me a good skin. Okay. Another way of appealing to emotion also, they might use the fear. They might use fear concept where they say, if you don't do this, you will suffer. If you don't condomize, you will get STI and HIV/AIDS. You understand?
Oh, okay.
They are,
Yeah.
yes, the attempt is to appeal to the customer, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you don't do this, then
Yeah.
if you're not wearing this certain jacket, then you're out of tune. You're old school. You don't have style. Okay. Then the conviction and the purchase, which is also known as the cognitive stages. They focus on the action now. This is when the advertiser is trying to make a potential customer to act on the information that you have given them all these stages. Okay, you have appealed to their emotion. Now you're trying to connect that emotional connection with actually buying a product. So on these stages, you might have customers who will be like having doubts. This is when you need to remove the doubts, isn't it? When a potential customer might say,
Yeah.
okay, maybe, but hey, I'm doubting if this is nice. This is now when you say, okay, if you're not sure about this car, let's go for a drive test. Or this is when you say, okay, you need this product. If you buy this product, we're going to give you one t-shirt for free, or we're going to give you 20% discount. Okay. That's how it works.
Okay.
Okay. Yes?
No, I'm saying okay.
Okay, I thought you got a question. Okay, so are you with me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, however, like I said before, they say we have 6 stages. These 6 stages from awareness up to purchase. The very same scholars, Lavage and Steiner, they believe these 6 stages also can be summarized into 3 stages of consumer behavior. Okay, so on the consumer behavior, they say number 1, there it's cognitive. Okay, cognitive, that's when you find your awareness. It's on the first 2 stages of the hierarchy of effects model. They say on the cognitive, you are aware, you knowledge, the advertiser objective on the cognitive is to create awareness, is to provide information about the product. Then affective, this is when you like, then you develop preference. Advertisers on these stages now, they develop affinity with the product. Consumer select a particular product. You're appealing to emotions, like I was explaining. Then cognitive. This is when there is conviction and also purchase from the consumer side. The advertising objective there is to encourage a desire to buy. Then consumer purchase the product. Okay. Any questions?
No questions. No
Okay,
questions at all.
okay.
I was
So
just
now,
reading here.
okay, so now we move on to persuasive communication techniques. Okay, so persuasion can be defined as a process or a symbolic process in which communicators try to convince other people to change their attitudes or behaviors regarding an issue through conveying of messages in an atmosphere of free choice. That's key, free choice. So persuasive communication, we are saying we are sending communication. We are communicating because we want to convince people to change certain attitudes and behaviors. Okay. Before I go further, let me give you an example so you can clarify what this means. It means now the government is advertising on newspapers, on TV, radio about COVID-19 to say, hey guys, mask up, wash your hands. Okay, so they're always advertising that, say, if you don't do that, there are chances that you're going to get COVID-19. Okay, so
Oh,
the purpose of that advertisement is to influence people to change the behavior, isn't it? If you were washing your hands once a day, they're saying wash as often as you can remember, isn't it? So the purpose of the
yeah,
act there is for us to change our attitude, isn't it? So that we can wear our masks. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Then we move on now. The key elements that we find from this definition. Number one, it says a symbolic process which uses images, words, and sounds. Of course, we see this persuasive communication on TV, in magazines, in newspapers. It's using words, it's using images, it's using sounds, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you still remember this. Maybe I don't know how young you are. Back in the day, there were advertisements that used to carry very gory sounds when it comes to HIV and AIDS. You know those
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
sounds. You remember, huh? Those kind of sounds that we get
yeah,
from horror movies.
yeah.
The idea there is to make sure people change their attitude. Oh, you suffer, isn't it?
Become afraid
Yeah,
of unprotected.
yeah. So they put those sounds to like, so you'll be like in an hour, like, oh, if hey, this thing is a killer, man. So in your mind already you'll be like seeing dead people, skeletons, isn't
Yeah.
it? Then the other element there is the deliberate attempt to influence others. So, like I gave you an example of advertisements about COVID-19. It's a deliberate attempt. It's a planned attempt to influence us to change the behavior. Then it's a non-coercive process of free choice. No one is being forced. Just when they're saying get vaccinated, even the president saying no one is being forced, isn't it? Just like with these
Mm-hmm.
ads and persuasive communication techniques, it's a non-coercive process. There is no coercion. You're not being forced. Okay, it's a free choice. Then the verbal and non-verbal transmission of persuasive message by means of range of media. Range of media basically means from all the traditional media, TV, radio, newspaper, to social digital media. Okay. So persuasive communication techniques are tools used to influence what people think, attract attention, create desire, trigger emotions, and prompt action. When they say prompt action is the communication as a technique there is trying to make sure that there is a change, that people act upon the message that they are getting. Okay. Okay. So these are persuasive communication techniques, but we'll discuss more about this on the later stage. Okay, so they use emotional appeal. They make viewers feel certain emotions, like the examples that I was
Okay.
giving you. You either excited or you sad or fear, isn't it? Then also there's
Yeah.
bandwagon. Bandwagon is based on the premises that, oh, everyone is doing it, so why are you not doing it, isn't it? Then also
Mm-hmm.
persuasive communication techniques, they also use humor. You've seen this in different advertisements. They also use individuality. They also product comparison. On the product comparison, this is when you see the advertising, say, okay, product A, it doesn't clean your clothes, but if you use our jig, it's perfect. Okay, that's a comparison.
Mhm.
It is important though to understand in advertisements, you can't clearly name your competitor. Okay, just like Samsung, when it advertises, it can't say we are better than iPhone. Okay, but they would rather just say we are better than the other brands, not specifically naming a product.
iPhone.
Okay, so these are the communication techniques. There are so many there. We'll discuss them at a later stage. Okay. Um,
Okay.
then we move on to the AIDA model. Okay, so remember I said we have two theories. The first one we did is the hierarchy effects model. Now we are looking at the AIDA model. Okay, so the AIDA model for us advertisers, it has four important steps: awareness, interest, desire, and action. Okay, so this model, it traces customers' journey through these four steps. And I'm sure this is the most famous advertising model of all the models that are found in advertising. This is very simple and it's well known. Okay. So if you look at
Okay.
those two figures there, the AIDA model, it's
Yes.
illustrating the order of the stages in the AIDA process. Okay. So the AIDA model identifies cognitive stages an individual goes through during the buying process for a product or a service. So it's like a purchasing funnel where consumers go to and from at each stage to aid the support in making the final purchase. Okay. So stage number one, we have awareness. Again, this is the first impression, can be the last impression. This is when an advertiser needs to be very solid and very creative on his advertisements. If an advertising doesn't create impression, doesn't create attention, it's a waste of money, isn't it?
Yes.
And awareness can be created even through word of mouth. You telling me, no, say, but hey, that product is better than this product. You're creating awareness to me. You're creating attention to me. You're bringing attention to me about a particular product. Okay.
Products.
Yes. So during this stage, the consumer becomes aware of the product. Then number two, interest. This is a crucial stage. This is when the consumer feels the product has a meaning to him or her. It has to be captivating enough to reach the purchasing stage. So it is very important for an advertiser or for a company to deliver these products in a very, to deliver the message in a very customized, beautiful, solid, and crisp way that suits the potential, the profile of the potential audience. So at this stage, this is when the consumer learn more about the brand and become interested in the benefits of the product or brands, isn't it?
Okay.
So you are looking at the product, you're looking at it like, oh, okay, so what are the advantages? Oh, the advantages, it's healthy. If you drink this, it helps you with your metabolism, it helps you with your dieting, things like that. Or if you're looking at a shoe like, oh, it's very comfortable. It is a rubber sole. It means if you buy this one, you're gonna be, it's gonna last. It's going 5 years with this shoe. Okay. Then stage three, it talks of desire. Advertisement scholars also argue it's not enough to just generate interest. It has to have desire. You have to create a liking of the brand. Of course, you might be interested in the brand, but you don't have the desire to buy it, isn't it? We have so many people who say, hey, iPhone is a good phone, but I'll never buy that phone, isn't it? They acknowledge they have an interest,
Yeah.
but they don't have the desire. So it is important to understand liking a brand or developing an interest doesn't necessarily mean is going to convert into a purchase or into sales. However, interest and desire can be achieved concurrently or simultaneously at the same time together. So after interest is generated, it is important to communicate to the target audience why they need the product. You need to create a sense of need to the customer. If people don't want it, create a need that people want it. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So during this desire stage, the consumer realizes how useful the
Yes.
product will be and develops a liking for it. It is important to remember that there are different levels of desire, a strong one, weak one. When I say if customers develop an interest and a desire and they're not willing to buy, create a need for them to buy. How do you create a need? Remember those stages that we talked about, your persuasive communication techniques. This is maybe when you utilize fear that if you don't use this, if you don't condomize, you're going to get HIV and AIDS. You're creating a need for a condom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm. Then for now, stage 4, that's action. This is when the customer has a positive disposition towards the brand. He or she will be willing to try it or buy it. At this stage, schemes like early bird discounts, free trials, one-on-one offers, this is when you utilize those. Buy one, get one free. Or if you buy two, we're going to give you a 20% discount. Okay. So in summary, the model is attention, interest, desire, and action. Attention, um, this is when you talk of how does the advertisement attract the consumer's attention? Interest. Does the advertisement create interest in the product or services? Desire. Does the advertisement ignite a desire to own or use the product? Action. Does the advertisement encourage consumers to act and purchase the product or service? If your advertisement that you have created answers all these questions, then you are good to go. Okay. But if your ad campaign can't answer these questions, then it's a failure. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we need to
Okay.
continue now, but now because it gives me 40 minutes, so I'm sure it's almost done there. So we're gonna just have about 5 to 10 minutes break. Okay, so we'll continue. Let's continue from 25 past. Okay.
Oh, ish. Okay. I need to fix my data issue then.
Um, are you able to?
I um I will try because I'm gonna be home tomorrow where I have Wi-Fi. Currently, I'm at my dad's workplace.
Oh, I see. No, if you can't, it's fine. Just continue through the notes. Then our next lesson it's on Monday. Then
Can you send me the notes, please?
you can access them on Core Campus. Okay, if you can't, it's fine. Did you see my email address on the WhatsApp group?
Yes, I did. I
Yes.
did.
So
Definitely.
send me an email requesting, then I'll be able to help you there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, man. What's your name again?
My name is Sonwabile Makadla.
Oh, Sonabi. Okay, great, man. Hope to see you on Monday. I don't know what happened to the other guys, but I'll see you Monday. Just go through the notes. You have any questions, you know how to reach me. I'm always here to help you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Great lesson.
All right. Sure. Thanks, man. Peace.
Peace.